Welcome to CodeSoft. We are starting a new video series that is dedicated to data structures and algorithms in C++. Now what we will do is that we will pick one data structure at a time, and then what we'll do is we'll talk about its basics, its syntax, and then move on to interview related problems starting from basic till hard problems, right? So the first data structure that we are picking is arrays in C++, right? What is an array? So arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable instead of declaring separate variables for each value. So let's say you are having three values 10, 20 and 30. You will say you can easily store them in three different variables, like A can have the value 10, B can have the value 20 and C can have the value 30. But let's say you are having thousands of values, right? You cannot do manually, declare a variable, store value for it, and do it for thousand different variables. That is not possible for any human, right? So what we do is we use the concept of arrays, declare a single variable, and store thousand values in that particular variable. I mean, that sounds very easy, right? And that is really very easy. And it makes our code more modular, easy, and more good to understand, right? Now, what is an index of array? So the location of an item in an array is referred by an index of an array. What do I mean by this? We have seen that a single variable in array will be storing thousands of values, right? More or maybe more than that, right? But if you want to actually distinguish between all those values, we need certain delimiter, right, which can actually distinguish them. So index is that particular location, or you can say distinguisher between different items in an array. So one single variable can have thousand values, but each value will have its own index, which will actually be its unique ID in that particular array. The arrays follow zero-based indexing. What does this mean is that the first item in the array will have 0th index, the second will have the first index, and so on. So this goes on sequentially till the number of arrays are present. So let's say if your let's say your array is having 10 values, then the indexing will be from 0 to 9. Right, 0 to n minus 1, where n refers to the number of elements in that particular array. So this is the basics of array. Now let's look at the syntax for an array. So let me go back to my Sublime editor and let's just write the basic syntax for C++. Right. So what we can do is we just have to declare it like a simple variable. Let's name it an ARR. After that, using square brackets, we refer that it is an array. Cool. And inside the square brackets, we refer to the number of elements that we actually want to store in that particular array. So if I mark it as 10, so maximum number of 10 elements I can store in this. So maximum of 10 elements can be stored in this array. Cool, pretty cool, right? Now how do I put in the values in it? So there are multiple ways, but the simplest way is you can actually use curly brackets and enter the values that you want to insert in the array, and they will get inserted in the array sequentially. Now if I just print this, so we can use the for loop for printing it. Now it will start from 0 and it will go to n minus 1 at term like this, and we can just and so what am I doing over here? Basically, I am declaring an array of size 10 using this statement. Now this 10 is the maximum elements that can be stored. We can also store lesser than 10 values in this particular array, correct? And similarly, we have inserted 5 different values in it. Cool. Now what I have told you is that the if we talk about the indexing of the array, it starts from 0 and goes till n minus 1, right? Now n here refers to the number of elements present in it. So you can see there are 5 elements present in it, right? So I can just mention n as 5, correct? So you can see we have so for printing the values, what we do is, like if you talk about how we can access a particular item in the array, we use this syntax, that is ARRI. I refers to the index of that array. Now what we are doing is we are starting from 0th index and going till n minus 1th index, that will actually have the last variable present in it, and we will do an equal to over here so that we can actually access that particular element also. And we are just cout, we are using the cout statement with it to just print it. If I save my file and build it, you can see that my array is getting printed. So this is about array. I hope this is clear how we can create an array, how we can store elements in it, and also how we can print them. Correct. Now suppose you do not mention the number of terms in an array. So what C++ does it will actually automatically see that how many values you have given, and then that particular number of elements will actually be the maximum size for the array. So if I run it again, you can see the output is same. Now what array is doing is this ARR variable will actually have all those 5 variables present in it. So we have seen what an array declaration is, what the size of an array refers to, how we can insert predefined values. Now suppose you have to do user defined values into an array. What you can do is you can start a loop from 0 till the size of an array and do cin in all the indexes. So what it will do is it will first insert the value at ARR 0th index, then ARR first index, and so on till the size of an array minus 1th index, right? So this is all about the basics of an array. We have seen how we can access an array. Now special feature in an array is that we can access any element. Okay, so suppose if you want to access the 4th indexed value, you can directly do cout ARR4, right? You do not have to traverse from 0th index till the 4th of an index, right? So that is a very good part. Arrays can actually be used to save a lot of time because we can directly go to that particular element, right? Now, if I talk about memory allocation of an array, so you know an integer takes 4 bytes, right? Similarly, if an array that is storing 10 integers, that will take 10 into 4, that is 40 bytes of values. If let's say that the array is of characters, not integers, it will just see like what if let's say that one character takes 1 byte. So an array of having like 10 characters, it will actually take 10 into 1, that is 10 bytes of data, and similarly for all the other data types also. So basically it depends on which type of array we are actually having, whether it's an integer type or a character type or a float type. Depending on that, the size of an array is defined. But one thing that we have to take care, or we should know, that all the memory allocation in an array is actually contagious, right? What does this mean is that let's say that ARR 0, that is the 0th element, is present at 1000 memory location. So ARR 1 will actually be present at 1004, that is 4 bytes ahead. So basically this is how the values of an array is stored, and all the values are stored one after the other. So if you want to, locate any particular element, it is not that any one element will be present at any different memory location, and other element of the same array will be present in different location. So that's all about the basics of an array. Now in the next video, we'll start with some basic problems based on arrays, and so on. We'll just raise the level till we reach some good problems for our interviews, right? Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to add more festoons into your knowledge garland. Until then, please keep subscribing.